Hi everyone, Jan Fursdon here from Fursdon House. It has been an age and 3/4 since I have done any videos, and I apologize for that, but we've had two very difficult and challenging months, and I thought, right, I've got to get back into creating because that gives me pleasure over pretty much anything at this point in my life, is creating things, and it calms me down. And I've deliberately not taken on any large projects because that can be a little bit more stressful. So I just wanted to show you what I've been working on recently. And I'll eventually get back to making journals, but this is what I've got now. Now these, that's a funny story. Of course, I always have those. I had cut out the shapes of these, probably 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago. And I had covered its canvas. Or no, I'm sorry, it's duck cloth. That's what it is on the back. And then it was duck cloth on the front, and I just had the shapes. And I thought, this is nuts. I need to finish these. So last month sometime, toward the end, I thought, I'm going to finish these. So I took different laces and fabrics and stitched it on the top. And then I wanted to stick with the color theme of creams in those various colors. And I finally finished them. Now, what I plan to do is to create like a banner. So I have to come up with some way of holding these tightly so that they'll hang right. I'm just not there yet, but yeah, that'll be something else to do. But anyway, this one in particular has a vintage bit of flowers and ephemera and stuff from a wedding veil. The poor veil looked horrible, but I could see that some of it was salvageable, so I went ahead and got it. And there it is. I love it. So there's that one. I think I have about 14. I know, I got a little carried away. And this one, a little more contemporary. These are little shell buttons. And then this is a glass button that I have had for donkey's years. I mean, I love the button, but nothing seemed to work with it. And I've tried it, throughout the years, and it's like, nope, nope, nope. Well, finally, I've used it. I have another one too, but at least this one I got to use. So, and again, just the duck cloth back and some fabric that's, I think you can see it, where it's just variegated and just different stitches and what have you. Okay, this one. I like the polka dots. The fabric had some polka dots on it. And I thought that's cool. And I've just put 2 appliques from a wedding dress that I purchased at a thrift shop, at least a year ago. The wedding dress was torn and soiled and everything, and I got it for an excellent price. I think it was like $15 or something. But I could tell that I could use all the appliques on it. So there's that one. And I have lots of appliques, so it's really nice. Because they can go pretty much on anything. This one is definitely contemporary. And what cloth did I put on this? Oh, was it just, actually you can barely see it, but it's just a very fine, I don't know what you'd call it. But anyway, it's very fine. And these are shell pieces that I've had for ages. And I decided, well, I wanted to sort of replicate an oyster with a pearl. So I used these faux pearls and put them on. And then I realized every time I moved the fabric at all, these kept moving around because that's how they're sewed on. So I thought, I'll fix you. So I've glued them down so that they don't move. I put them in the position I want them in. Little control there. And then I thought it turned out pretty good. So let's see. This one is almost the same type of base fabric, but it has crinkles in it. And these are just a collection of paper flowers that are in a, let's see, what are they? Is it Studio, I think? I think it's Studio. And you can get these at any craft store, Michael's, Hobby Lobby. And they have different colors, but I always prefer the creams. So I thought that was really neat. And this is sweet. So the back covering is a piece of fabric that you can see, I think you can see it, how it's delineated in squares, and then different designs are stitched into each square. That's a piece of fabric that years ago, I'm talking, gosh, 11, 12, yeah, 12 years ago at least, we visited my daughter in Seattle, and they had this fabulous fabric store, and they were having a huge sale, and oh darn, I got a lot of this fabric. I mean, it was amazing. And my sweet husband said, go for it, get whatever you want, and it'll be your birthday present. So I'm like, oh darn, yep, I can do that. So I got a lot of other fabrics. Most of the other ones I got were silks that are in darker colors, or they're silky. It's not silk, but in darker colors. But this I just fell in love with. And I think now they have a golden color out. But this is just a favorite, and I've used it down through the years for various things. And the three little dolls, I think they're called Frozen Charlottes. Not quite sure. I guess that's how they started. But I've always liked them, but never knew what to do with them. And I had three, and like the glass button earlier, I've tried various things, and it just never worked out. And I thought, fine, this will work. And I really like the three of them just sitting there. Whoops, I've bumped the table there. But anyway, those are mine. And I sort of look at this as my grandmother, my mother, and me. So, or you could say my grandmother and my mother and me in the middle, because I'm surrounded by both of them. Wonderful, wonderful ladies and sweet. My grandmother passed in 98. My mom is still with us, and she's very special to me, as my gran was. And I thought that'd be a nice way of looking at these three. So that's that. Let's see what we're coming up with next. Move something out of the way. This one, you can see the stripe in the base fabric. And this applique is also from another wedding dress that I purchased 2 or 3 years ago. Again, it was ruined. You could never do anything with it. You couldn't wear it. But I was able to save a lot of the appliques. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And I've been using them throughout. That thing had a ton of appliques on it. It's just sad that it was not salvageable as far as wearing it. This one, they look like shell buttons. I don't know that they are shell. They might be plastic to emulate shell. Who knows? But they're pretty. And I just wanted to do just a collage of them. And you can see the little striations in the fabric and crinkles and what have you. Again, I was trying to stick to this same color palette, or as close as I could. And I think I did okay. I'm trying to figure out how I did this. I think, okay, here it is. Okay, so you can see the lace that's woven in the fabric. And these pieces on the sides all came from a necklace that I had years ago, which I never wore. But I loved it. I loved the look of it. And I thought, okay, I'll take it apart. And I've used 1 or 2 pieces of it since then, but not much. This piece, I love this piece. It came from a bracelet that I got at a thrift shop. And I love the way it looks. It's just neat. So that one is that. And, oh, this one has lots of fun memories. So once I get it, I should probably stitch it down. Yeah, that's a good idea. This bracelet, it was a bracelet. This is all I have left of it. But we went on a field trip. That's what we called them back in the 70s. And it was with my choral class. And Mrs. Choate was the teacher, and she just passed away about a year ago. Lovely lady. Everyone loved Mrs. Choate. And this was in Valley View, Arkansas, right next to Jonesboro. Anyway, we went on a field trip. Oh, it was a competition. That's what it was, for singing. And I think we came away with 3rd place. It was really neat because we didn't think we'd place at all. And then we went to a store. You know, girls, we all like to go to stores. And there was this new store at the time, and it was called Cloud 9. I don't know if any of y'all remember that. But they had this bracelet, and I fell in love with it, and I wore it and wore it and wore it, and then I kind of outgrew it. But I couldn't get rid of it. It held too many special memories. So I put it aside with my bits and pieces of jewelry. And here it is. And what's nice about all these special things is that they're staying with me. So I couldn't ever use them and put them in something like a journal or anything. This piece down here is just, I wanted to include something else, and I didn't have anything else without taking this apart, which I didn't want to do. So I've just included this on the bottom. It's from a vintage necklace. So there's that. I definitely need to stitch it down though. This one is a vintage pen that I found again in a junk shop or thrift shop, whatever I'm trying to say. And I wore it quite a bit when I was working because it goes with everything because it's a non-color. But then I put it aside because I got tired of it, but I still loved it. And I thought, wait, here we go. So when I was doing this to stay in the color scheme, I just literally went through my entire studio looking at all the boxes and bins and trays and everything and looking for things that would go in here for that color scheme. And I had fun with it. This, let's see, can you see the flowers? Okay. You can see the fabric, and the flowers are plastic, clear plastic. And I got these at a fabric store we used to have access to. It was called Sirs Fabrics, S-I-R''S, Sirs Fabrics. They had been in business for years and years up in Fayetteville, I think it was Fayetteville, Tennessee. And they had the most fabulous prices. And you had to generally buy in bulk, but it was something like you had to at least purchase 3 yards or something, if I remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. But it was run by the local ladies, and you would see several. There was, the last time I was there was this little old lady, and she's so precious. She had to have been 80 if she was a day. And we just got to talking, and it was just that lovely Southern charm and old-fashioned nostalgia. It was just wonderful. Unfortunately, the store burned down, and we were all just appalled. I mean, we were like, oh my gosh. I mean, we wouldn't go there very often because we'd spend too much. But I tried to go maybe once a year, sometimes twice a year, depending on what I was doing at the time. And I think it was the last visit there, I got this strip on like a gauzy strip, and then these buttons were attached. I can't remember what they were attached in the middle with. So I just put little glass beads in there to finish off the flower. But that brings back a lot of happy memories. And the nope, not last one. Okay, 2 more. Okay, this is heavy. These are glass pieces that I put in the center, little faux pearls. And these glass pieces were on a chandelier that my brother was going to throw out on the street. I just about had a heart attack when I heard that. Fortunately, we were visiting him at the time, and he mentioned he was going to get rid of it and put it out on the street if he couldn't find anyone who wanted it. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. So I have the chandelier. It was heavy with glass beads and all kinds of stuff. And here are the little, I'm not sure how it went on the chandelier now, I've forgotten, but they're all glass. So it is very heavy, but it's just a neat memory of that chandelier. It was coated with crystals. And I thought, no, I can't deal with this. So I took it literally all apart, and I'll try and show you in the next minute or two. No, I better not, because I'll screw up my video. But anyway, I took everything off of it. Everything. Wires, crystals, everything. Separated them. I did sell some of the crystals at one of my craft fairs. And I've got a few left, but not many. And I've got some hanging in the windows. Maybe I'll show you all at the very end without screwing it up. Anyway, it was a nice treat to be able to use that. And this is a piece of lace that was on one of the wedding gowns. I can't remember now. It must have been the first one I showed. Anyway, it's just a piece that is cut out, and you can see the little faux pearls. And then again, in my favorite cream colors. So that is what I have been finishing off finally. Tell you what, I'm just going to leave those right there. And then I decided, well, last year I had been following Ann Brooks. Brooke, I think is it Brooks or Brooke? I'm sorry, I don't remember. And she was doing this 52 tag challenge for 2021. And she would send out a challenge, like a prompt, once a week. And the idea was at the end of the year, you would have 52 tags. Well, I'm a day late and a dollar short, perhaps, but I have decided to do it now. So these are the ones that I came up with. I'll show you in just a minute. Let me get them in order of what they were. What's 2? No, that's 3. So these I've just finished for the month of January. And my idea is to keep them all in the same color scheme. All the tags, the same color, the same shape. All of the base fabrics, you can't see it on that, but it's there in this. All of that in this Irish linen that when my best friend Sherry was down here a couple of weeks ago, we went to Michael's and they had this 2 huge pieces of Irish linen for like $7 a piece. And I thought, whoa, I remember when that was terrifically expensive. So I grabbed it and I've already started using it. And again, I want the color scheme not to all be creams because that would get kind of boring, I think. But I don't want a lot of hard colors in it. That was, actually, I would have done that in the lighter threads. I used too many threads is the problem with this one. And then I learned something from that, which I'll tell you in a minute. But this was the first card, week 1. Antique, the prompt was white. Well, I don't like white. I like creams. So these are antique lace vintage baby buttons and Irish linen. The bottom button has the original thread still in it. So this is the vintage lace. I love this lace. Now I don't have much more of it left. I got it in Atlanta at like a antique mall type thing. And I just love these old laces that are the cotton laces. They're so beautiful and sturdy. And I had these, these are little vintage, the lace is antique, but the buttons are vintage, and they're baby buttons. Now, look at that tiny one right there. Isn't it adorable? Well, this button still had the original threads in it. And so my goal was to try and find a thread that was similar, and that's what I did with the top 4. But I've had these buttons for a while. I didn't know what I wanted to use them with. But I wanted to keep them with me because they're so precious. And so that allowed me to do that. So let's see, what was the next prompt? I think, was it hearts? Yes, week 2. Embroidered heart shape on linen. I love hearts. I love the shapes I always have. Trees, wreaths, hearts. Those are some of my favorite shapes. And greens and pinks are my favorite colors. So I stitched this up. And I was quickly reminded that I haven't done any embroidery at all that I can think of in over 15 or 16 years. I did a huge amount when we first bought this house because I couldn't afford to just go out and buy pictures for the walls. But what I did was a lot of stitching, and then I did my own framing with just store-bought, you know, ready-made frames and stuff. And that's how long it's been. And when I started to do this, excuse me, I realized really fast that, yeah, I needed help. I needed practice. But there it is. I'm still pleased with it. And again, I love those colors. Not sharp greens and not hard pinks and reds, but muted colors. I'm going to stop for a minute, get a glass drink of water. My throat gets very dry. Thank you for holding. Okay, the next prompt was scraps. A collection of vintage lace scraps and new too. I love the older laces and the colors of these especially. And these are, you can see some of this scrap. I used it. I had a tiny piece left. And I don't waste this scrap with, or that fabric with anything. I use it all up. So you can see where that one came from. And this piece here is vintage. That one's antique. These are probably vintage. And this one down here, if you, one of my videos, I told everyone what this was. It was a beautiful, I kid you not, it was a shower curtain at Walmart. And I've never seen any since, and I should have gotten at least 2, but I didn't. Hindsight's always 20/20. But it was covered in these shapes, sort of a cylindrical, a wide cylindrical shape. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I have used it and used it and used it. And I've probably got maybe a half of a yard left, but it went well. I was picking out all of my bits and pieces from my scrap bins. And then, of course, the new heart. That's how that all came out. But these are my favorite colors. Nothing stark white. That's a little whiter than I usually like, but it's in these shades that are my favorites. I don't know, they're just very calming. And I apologize up front for this, but then again, you know, it's where I am in life. As I said, I haven't done any stitching in like, gosh, what? 15 or 16 years. The prompt was a fly stitch. And lavender is one of my favorite flowers. And it taught me that I really need to practice my embroidery because I've not done it in over 15 years. I used too much thread. I used the wrong thread. These threads are probably 20 years old that I've purchased. And now, of course, they have more beautiful threads out that are single strands that are lovely. But I thought, you know what? It's okay. And so I still found pleasure in doing it. I love, again, it's lavender. I just said that, didn't I? And I didn't have a pattern. I looked at something that someone else had done, and I thought, well, I'll just kind of draw what I want, because it was several pieces on her embroidery that I just pulled up on the internet. And I came up with this. But again, it's taught me a lot, and I was glad to do this, because now I know it's going to be a sad story, but now I get to go to our most fabulous stitch shop. It's called Patches and Stitches. I'm hoping it's still open. And I get to buy new needles. I mean, I'm telling you, all of my stuff was too old. The needles were wrong. The thread was wrong. Everything. But I get to look at all the new threads that are out now and choose some. And new needles. And I've already ordered a pair of fine embroidery scissors that will get real, you know, those tight places. So that is what I've been doing. I will attempt to show you that chandelier. Hopefully I won't screw this up. But if I do screw it up, you know that what's going on, and you can just watch the rest of the video, hopefully. But here is the chandelier now. And as I said, it was dripping in crystals and different shapes and everything. And it was just too elaborate for me. But I love this. And then what I have done in the past, and I need to do it again, on each of these where the lights were, I put large candles, you know, candles that are about, what, 2.5 inches in diameter. And they were only about 3 inches, maybe 2 inches tall, 2.5 inches tall. So it was really neat. And I lit them all, and my husband came in at that time, as luck would have it, and he said, "Please tell me you're not going to leave that burning." And I'm like, no, dear, I'm not that crazy. I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. And so that's what the chandelier ended up looking like. In the background, you see the dress. That is antique, 1912. It was a christening gown. I purchased that in England at some antique mall type thing. And I just love it. I think it's so pretty and so intricate. And it's handmade. And it's just lovely. And there is a dress that my granddaughter Isabel wore when she was probably 5. It's dark purple velvet on the top, and then very filmy, lighter purple with the little ribbons hanging down. And she always wore it because it was her fairy dress. And there it is. So anyway, to get back to the chandelier. So you saw the one pieces. I'm going to try and, if you can see over there, the hanging from the top. I've just done the crystal drops sort of as a valance. Here's some more. And that blouse I made, well, I didn't make the blouse. I bought the blouse from a thrift shop, and I decorated it with different laces and stuff. And I was always really pleased with it. It turned out well. I wore it for a while, but then I kind of got, yeah, I think it was like, yeah, it's not quite in fashion, and for whatever reason, I thought, oh, I'll just put it aside. I'm not going to get rid of it or anything because I enjoyed doing it because it was all hand stitching, except for the sleeves. I did do that by machine, but everything else was hand stitched. Oh, and I'm sorry, the slice across the bottom, that was machine stitched. But then one day I was out here and the sun was really, I mean, what I had it displayed out here, and the sun was just really right in my eyes. And I wanted to filter it a little bit, and I looked over and there this shirt was, and I thought, great. And so now I use it as just sort of a filter on the window, and it turned out really well. So anyway, that's it for now. My studio is in a total mess, but I'll have fun cleaning it up. And there we go. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. 13? Either that or I can't count. No, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I thought I had 14. Yeah. And then there again are the 4 tags that I've done. So I hope you're all having a blessed day, a blessed weekend. It is freezing here. It got down to below 20 last night here in Madison, Alabama, and it's like, yikes, you'd think it was wintertime or something. Take good care, and I look forward to hearing from you. And as always, please be blessed. Thank you.